Hi friends, good day. Today I am starting a new topic called as investment accounts. See, if you look at what is investment account, investment is an asset which is held by the enterprise for earning income by way of dividends, interest and rentals for capital appreciation or for other benefits to the investing enterprise. If you look at the meaning of the investment, it says that investment is an asset which is held by the enterprise. If the business organization is having the money idle, they don't know where to invest, then such money, instead of keeping it idle, you can invest somewhere. Where you can invest? You can invest by purchasing some securities. That securities we'll be discussing. Like that securities can be based on income. If you look at it, it can be called as fixed income securities or variable income securities, and through which, if you look at fixed income securities, say for example purchase of debentures, purchase of bonds. If you buy those debentures or bonds, periodically the company or the enterprise where you have purchased these debentures or bonds, on that periodically some interest will be received. Similarly, if you are going to buy variable scrips, means income is not certain, because you can take example of equity shares. When you buy equity shares, the dividend will be paid by the company depending upon the basing upon the profit. So if there is no profit or insufficient profit, I think you won't be able to get the income, desired income, and that too you can't say this fixed income. In case of debentures, you can say you are sure of getting fixed rate of interest, whether company is having profits or no profits. Even company gets losses, the company has to pay interest on debentures. This you will learn in debentures chapter. Debenture interest on debenture is a charge, whereas dividend is appropriation of profit. If you got profit, then only you can pay dividend. So the amount that has been invested, on that you may be either getting dividend or interest. And rentals, like if you are going to have a property in your name, the name of an organization, you are not using that property for your own purpose, but that has not been held for the occupation or use, but that has been given on rental basis. On that you'll be getting rental income, no? So that is also can be taken as an investment. That is investment property, we say. So this is the meaning of investment. Now then we look at the classification of investments. Investments are classified based on income, based on time. Based on income, just now I told you, fixed income scripts, variable income scripts, or fixed income securities, variable income securities. Based on time, you can classify into two categories: current investments, long term investments. So that, to begin with that, so first I have started with the meaning of investment. Meaning of investment: investment is an asset Investment is an asset which is held by the enterprise for earning income by way of dividends, interest and rentals. For capital appreciation. Whenever you invest any property, there is appreciation of asset, no? The value of asset may go up. It is called as capital appreciation. Capital appreciation. Or for other benefits to the investing enterprise. Now, when you look at the investing enterprise, you can say investing enterprise can be a sole proprietary concern. Investing enterprise can be a partnership. Investing enterprise can be a company. Anything, it can be investing enterprise. See, for other benefits means whatever that has not been explained here. For any other benefits, like X company would like to take over control of Y company, the next company is called as a holding company, Y company is a subsidiary company. If I want to dominate the other company by having my control of management of other company, I may be investing. It's not only that just for getting some income or something like that. I think in that can be given as example for other benefits. But one thing you should remember, but assets held as stock in trade are not investments. You know what is stock in trade? Your intention is not to held. Your intention is to buy and sell. Then asset held as stock in trade will not be considered as a case of investment accounting. For investment accounting purpose, we are not going to consider this as an investment. Now, then we look into, before I go into classification of investments, we also should look at why the investment ledger is to be maintained, because investment accounting is about investment ledger. Let me orally explain, then we can go for classification. What is the purpose of investment ledger? It's investment accounting we talk about. Why accounting is maintained? You know, generally we talk about accounting. Why? What is the reason for maintenance of accounts? Why accounting has to be maintained, etc. I think there are so many things we discuss why accounting is to be maintained. The main reason is this investment ledger is a special type of ledger which is used by the investing enterprise to record all the details of each investment. The main objective of maintaining the investment ledger is like it facilitates proper recording of each security separately. And I think you should understand that that for each security separate investment is to be maintained. Suppose I am buying debentures of a Reliance Company Limited. I am buying the debentures of Tata Limited Company. Reliance Limited debentures, I have to maintain separate investment account. For Tata Limited company, I have to maintain separate investment ledger account. Because the reason is that for each transaction of buying of debentures, example, or a buying of shares also, I told you there can be two types, fixed income bearing scrips, variable. For that purpose, I must be able to record the each security separately. The reason is why you are each security you need to separately you should record, because it facilitates the collection of interest and dividend as and when they are due. That means we will be able to know, okay, this is the due date on this, I will be getting what is the balance of investment and how much interest I will be receiving on debentures, or year ending, what is the dividend I am going to receive from my shares which I am having holding in a particular company. I think these things, to have a clarity, this investment ledger generally is being maintained. And then it helps to determine the value of securities at the end of the accounting period. At the end of the accounting period, what is the balance of your investment and what is the value of that investment, that also we can know. And also by preparing that investment account, we also can able to know, determine the profit or loss on sale of any security. Whether you are getting profit or you are getting loss, that also can be known through investment ledger. That is the reason why this investment account is generally being maintained. Clear? That we have learned the objective of maintaining investment accounts ledger, that has been explained to you. Now let us see the next point is, which I am talking about, that just generally for explanation purpose I have explained, no need to copy down. Now let us look at the classification of investments. Now investments, you can classify on two bases. One is based on income. This is one classification. The other classification is based on time. Based on income, can be classified in two categories: fixed income securities or it is also called as scrips. Example, debentures. Variable scrips, or you can call it securities, debentures, etc. Here I am writing example, equity shares. Then based on time, we can classify into two categories: current investment, long term investment. Current investment, long term investment. Most of the problems are based on current investment only. What is current investment? If your intention is not to hold the investment for more than 1 year, then that can be taken as current investment. And if your intention is to hold for more than 1 year, it is a long term investment. Okay, so I think fixed income securities, I told you, investments having fixed income over the years for which they will be held are called as fixed income securities. You can make a note of it if you want. Shall I dictate this? I think you can copy down this later on if you want. So first I will be giving you few lines about fixed income securities. Investment having fixed income over the years for which they will be held are called as fixed income securities. It is also called as scripts, fixed income securities. Example I have already given: investment in government securities, and debentures, because on that you will be getting, say, 12% debentures. Periodically you will be getting interest on that, no? That is why it is being called as fixed income securities. Like yearly twice they may be paying interest, or sometimes yearly once they will be paying interest, and that can be taken as fixed income bearing securities. Clear to all of you? The next one we shall discuss about variable income securities. Investments having variable income over the years for which they will be held are called as variable. That means you are not sure. As I told you, you are buying shares. You are buying shares of a company. When you are buying shares of a company, equity shares of a company, you are not sure when you will be getting the income on that, right? That is the reason why it is called as variable. It keeps on changing. That is why the term that has been used is variable. So variable income securities. Investments having variable income over the years for which they will be held are called as variable income securities. Example you can write: investments in equity shares. investments in equity shares. Then let us go for C, current investment. What is current investment? It is an investment that is by its nature readily realizable and is intended to be held for not more than 1 year from the date on which such investment is made, is called as current investment. An investment that is by its nature readily realizable. That means, like you purchase debentures, you don't want to, the intention of buying the debentures or buying shares, you don't want to carry on for a longer time. As and when the market value goes up, you want to dispose it off so that you can encash the money, and then if you want, you can buy when the prices are coming down as an investment. I think that is what the intention is, not to hold. Whenever you want to really realize the amount, or whenever the market value is going up, in fact you are not a trader here. Yes, just I am giving an example, stock in trade. If I am buying investment like a stock exchange broker, I think that is my business. But as an investor, if I feel marketable conditions are favored for me to buy when the prices are coming down, okay, or the marketable conditions are good for me to sell, I can sell that at the investment, I can get substantial amount, that can be taken as current investment. The current investment, what is a current investment? A short term investment, we can say. A short term investment that is by its nature readily realizable and is intended to be held for not more than 1 year. For not more than 1 year. From the date of from the date on which such investment is made. I think this is clear to current investment. Generally, we are working out the problems on which investment, my dear friends? Current investment. Otherwise, this investment topic doesn't have any significance. If it's long-term investment, your intention is not to sell within 1 year. Your intention is to hold it for more than 1 year. Very rarely you may be selling it. So in such case, you don't have much accounting to be done. It is a non-current investment. Long-term investment is a non-current investment. Okay. So we can say, what is long-term investment? An investment other than a short-term investment. D. Now, as per company accounts, we are calling is a non-current investment. Non-current investment. A non-current investment. It is an investment. It is an investment other than current investment. So today we have seen two definitions here. We have started today's class with meaning of investment, and then I've explained you classification of investment. Now today we'll be going for now to the extent possible. I'll be taking you to accounting treatment for investment. Accounting treatment for investments. Okay. See, as I told you, we need to prepare a separate as I told you, a separate investment account for each scrip, each security purchased. So we already seen that it can be divided into fixed bearing scrip and variable income bearing scrips. So our entire accounting is based on into four categories rather. Accounting for purchase of securities, accounting for purchase of securities, accounting for sale of securities, profit or loss on sale of securities, and carrying amount of investment. For accounting treatment, we need to cover four aspects: accounting for purchase, accounting for sale, accounting for profit or loss, accounting for carrying amount. These things again are classified in two categories: fixed income securities, variable income securities. That briefly we will be discussing. Before I take into that, so here let me first take the fixed income securities. So what I will be doing here, when you talk about accounting for treatment for accounting treatment for investment, I told you the main points you should remember. A separate investment account should be made. A separate investment account should be made for each securities or scrip purchased. I told you, if you are having Tata company, Tata in the name of Tata company, it should be Tata company limited debentures, Tata Reliance company debentures, like that. And as I told you, the scrip purchased, the scrip purchased to be divided into two categories for recording. This we all discussed. That is fixed income, bearing scrips, even recording also. You cannot mix these two. Are you following? Fixed income bearing scrips, you need to prepare separate account, and variable income scrips, you should maintain separate account. Variable income scrip means equity shares, etc. So now we see the accounting. So first I am starting with accounting for fixed income security. Now this particular today's session is also useful for better understanding of topic called as redemption of debentures. There we got cum interest, ex interest, etc. So in fixed accounting for fixed income securities, before I go into purchase and sale, let me explain the concept of meaning of cum interest, meaning of ex interest. Sir, what is this, sir? Meaning of cum interest, ex interest. What is meaning of cum interest, ex interest? Means a company may buy a cum interest quotation or ex interest quotation. A company may sell, a company may investing enterprise, I mean to say, an investing enterprise may purchase cum interest scrips or ex interest scrips. That means the concept of cum ex will arise only in case of fixed income securities. See, the concept of cum interest, ex interest arises only in case of fixed income bearing securities. Sir, you may be buying cum interest scripts or you may be buying ex interest scripts as investing enterprise, or you may be selling cum interest scripts or ex interest script. So to know that meaning, first of all, today's class, my emphasis on this particular topic. Now, cum interest and ex interest, rather cum and ex, let me tell you. The interest part I told you already. Cum and ex are Latin words. Are Latin words. Cum and ex are Latin words. Cum means with. Ex means without. That means when I talk about cum interest securities, which is including interest, cum interest. When I am purchasing securities, ex means without interest. It can be at the time of purchase or at the time of sale. So let me give you a small example, diagrammatic representation for cum interest scripts. Okay. Cum interest. When you want to buy or sell, you need to have quotation price, the price at which you want to buy. If that quotation price is consisting of two things, cost and interest accrued, Why interest accrued? I'll explain. Then it becomes quotation price of come interest includes accrued interest. It includes accrued interest, and this will be finally paid to seller. Now tell me, payment to seller is including cost plus interest accrued. The same thing if you put it in other way, X interest. Think you understand? Without interest. Quotation price is only including cost. But when you are making payment to seller, you also should add accrued interest is payment to seller. Now let me give a small example to understand this. Let me give a small example to understand this. Suppose a company purchased 100 debentures numbers at the rate of ₹100 each. At the rate of 109 each. Let me tell you, 12% debentures, 100 numbers at the rate of 109 rupees each. Interest payable on June 30th, 31st December every year. A company purchased 12% debentures of 100 numbers at the rate of 109 each on say 31st August. So how they are paying interest? They are paying on 30th June and 31st December. You can see what is the date of purchase, 31st August. No. Now let me give an example. If it is X interest, come interest purchase. Come interest purchase. If it is come interest purchase, what will happen? Let us see. Now come interest purchase is cost and accrued interest is included. Sir, what is interest accrued, sir? See, 31st August it has been purchased. Okay. Here a company purchased 12% debentures of 100 members at the rate of 109 each, means it has purchased in another company. This company as an investment has purchased debentures of another company. That is the meaning. Or if you are having any doubt, we can put it like this. Mr. X purchased. I think this will have more clarity. X purchased 12% debentures of 100 members at the rate of 109 each on 31st August. Interest payable on 30th June and 31st December each year. Now you can see date of purchase, August 31st. Date of last interest paid, is 30th June. Now when you are buying, the seller is going to get interest again on 31st December, no? See, date of last interest paid is 30th June to the seller by the company. Company has paid 30th June. If suppose the seller can hold the investment up to 31st December, then he will be getting interest on 31st December. But when the date of purchase 31st August, that means 30th June means July, August. After 2 months, excess purchase investments. That means to the seller, he needs to make a payment of 2 months interest also, no? But if you look at date of next payment of interest is 31st December. But the seller can't wait till 31st December. By that time, the debentures won't be in the name of the seller. The debentures will be in the name of the purchaser on 31st December. So, but when this investor has purchased on 31st August, so the seller has got the interest already on 30th June. But if he can hold those debentures of 100, he will be getting interest on 31st December. You following what I am saying? See, 30th June, the seller has got the interest on 30th June. He is going to get interest again on 31st December. That every 6 months he is receiving. But he has sold on 31st August, no? So now this particular period, that is 30th June to 30th August, if you calculate how many months? 2 months interest, which is going to be foregone by, which is going to be sacrificing, in other words, by selling enterprise. If you and me are sellers, you tell me whether we accept this proposal? No. Why? The reason is that as a seller, I don't want to lose the 2 months interest. The 2 months interest I am going to buy from the buyer. Why I am going to buy? I am going to get from the buyer rather. I am going to get from the buyer rather is that the buyer who will be holding these debentures on 31st December, no? The company won't be looking at for how many months you are holding. On the date of payment of interest, whoever is holding the debentures, for that particular name of the holder who is sending interest coupons, and the company will be paying interest to them. So that means on 31st December, X enterprise will get interest for 6 months. Now what is the problem X is having if he pays interest? So this 2 months interest is called as accrued. This accrued interest, whether it is included in quotation price or not. If it is included in quotation price, then that is called as cum interest. Sir, what is accrued? Outstanding but not due. I told you already, foundation. Outstanding but not due. Outstanding but not due on 30th June, last interest paid. 31st August. Actually 31st August, since the seller is selling, he won't be getting that interest from the company. Company will pay interest only on 31st December. But in the meanwhile, the seller is going to collect the money from the person who is buying the debenture. That is what is called as interest accrued. And that interest accrued is included in come interest. It becomes included in quotation price, that includes come interest. If it is not included, it will become X interest. But the interest is to be paid. Either interest is included or not, interest is not included, amount is to be paid. Now that is what we will be looking at. Okay, how to calculate interest accrued? Interest accrued first July to 31st August. Now here I told you 100 rupees debentures purchased at 109. 100 rupees debentures purchased at 109 rupees in the market. So 12% interest. Interest is always calculated in face value. Face value of each debenture is not given. When face value of debenture is not given, we can assume as 100 rupees. So therefore, we need to calculate interest accrued. That is hundred debentures into 100 rupees into 12% into 2 by 12. 100 into 100, you are getting 10,000 into 12% into 2 by 12. 200 rupees accrued interest. On 10,000 face value, interest on debenture is 12% coming to per annum 1200. For 2 months it is 200. Now, therefore, quotation price is equal to cost price plus accrued interest. What is cost price here? 100 debentures into 109. $10,900. This is quotation price. This is quotation price. Quotation price is how much? 10,900. Okay. From this 10,900 is including accrued interest. It is to be separated. You have already calculated 200. How you calculate it, sir? 100 into 100. You have calculated already. It is there now. I think, why should I repeat again? $10,700 is cost price. Go back. Cost price plus accrued interest will become quotation price. This is what we have discussed now. Is clear? Cost price plus interest accrued quotation price. Now here in this case, what is cost price, my dear friend? This example, interest accrued 200, it is coming to 10,900. Clear to all of you? So now tell me whether interest is included or not. It is included, and this will be recorded as follows by opening an account. Debenture account extract. Date, particulars, nominal value, this is left hand side. Okay, same is being repeated on the right hand side also. Okay, so how many columns we are having? 5 columns. So this amount is nothing but cost price, cost column. Amount is nothing but, this is nothing but cost column. This is also less just like cost column. Now what is the date here? 31st August. When you are buying investment account, you write here debenture account, or it is called as investment account. You write to bank. A nominal value can be numbers, or nominal value can be numbers, or nominal value can be value. What is nominal value? Nominal numbers, if you look at it, what is the number of debentures purchased? 100 debentures. What is the nominal value? Here we got it. That is cost price. This is cost price. What is nominal value? 100 into 100, coming to how much? 10,000. Next, what is interest? 200. What is cost price? 10,700. That means your purchase investment of 10,000 worth of investment you purchase for 10,900. But I told you we shall separate interest separately, accrued interest separately, and cost price separately. The reason is that you should be recording the cost price without interest, because the quotation price is including interest. But at the time of recording, you should understand that interest is a revenue nature, cost is capital nature. Please remember, this is a capital nature. This is a revenue nature. Can you combine capital nature and revenue nature together? No. So this is what you should understand. You should separate revenue separately, capital separately. What is revenue? 200. What is capital? 10,700. Capital receipt, revenue receipt. Interest is revenue recurring. Capital is non-recurring nature. So I hope you got it. This is example of come interest. The entry also I given, examples I have given. Come interest cost, come interest purchase. Next, X interest purchase. Now, X interest purchase, same example. Now, come on. Here, quotation price 100 into 109, 10,900. To this, accrued interest to be added, then you will get cost price. Here, previous example, quotation price of come interest minus accrued interest cost price. Here, quotation price plus cost price plus accrued interest is equal to quotation price. So, quotation price is always cost price plus accrued interest only. But this quotation price is including interest, whereas in this case X interest quotation price is not including interest. Right? Understand? If quotation price is including interest, it is come interest. Quotation price is not including interest, it becomes X interest. So, quotation price 10,900. Accrued interest concept is same. Twelve by 100 to 2 by 12, you will be getting same 200. No? And cost price is equal to 11,100. Clear to all of you? 11,100. It means my purchase price in both the cases is how much? 10,900 only. To get cost price, interest is to be added. To guess cost price, you should deduct interest. Come on, tell me. Come interest, what is to be done? Accrued interest is to be deducted. For X interest, what is to be added? Accrued interest to get cost price. Simple words. Okay, now quotation price is 10,900. So I think now cost price plus accrued interest will become quotation price. Here, cost price plus accrued interest, quotation price only. But to get cost price, from quotation price I am taking out which interest? Accrued interest. So now here, better you use payment to seller. Otherwise you will be having confusion. Payment to seller. In this case, to understand it better, quotation price I am writing as a cost price only. To be taken to which column? Cost column. When you open ledger account. Then otherwise you will be having, if I write cost price, you will be having confusion. Here, quotation price is including interest, no? Now this I have written here. Now here one thing you should understand. This is payment to seller. How much you are making payment to seller? You can see interest 200, amount 10,700. How much you are paying total? 10,900. No, this is clear to all of you. Quotation price, I repeat once again, quotation price is including cost and interest accrued. Quotation price is including cost and accrued. Here quotation price now is not including accrued interest. To make a payment to seller, quotation price is already, interest is included. Now here you can see quotation price is 10,900. Payment to seller. How much you are paying? 11,100. If you take the same example for X interest, I have written here. Same example as above for X interest. That means quotation price here, example, purchase 12% debentures of 100 numbers at the rate of 109 each. This is quotation price, no? Come interest quotation price I have taken as 109. X interest also I have taken 109. This 109 is including interest. Cost price at 10,900. That I am splitting. Why I am splitting? For recording the transaction. Here the same example I am taking as X interest. So this is quotation price 10,900. To this I need to add accrued interest. Then I will be getting payment to seller. Now how to record this investment account you can see. Same date, particulars, nominal value, interest, amount, cost. Amount, cost. Okay, now let us see. Same example taken 31st August. To bank, what is the nominal value of debentures purchased? 10,000 rupees. This is memorandum column. Double entry column starts from here. This is double entry. This is double entry. This is memorandum column. Temporary. This is memorandum column. These two columns are double entry. Whatever I am writing in with red color, double entry system. This is called as which column? This is called as double entry. You following? Same is the case. Memorandum. This is double entry concept. Ledger. Okay, to bank, nominal value 10,000. Interest, accrued interest 200. What is the payment you are paying? 11,100. Because if you see the diagram here, tell me, quotation price is cost 10,900. Accrued interest 200. Payment to seller 11,100. Are you following? but in amount column, which is to be taken? This is for X interest cost column, you can see. Some interest cost column, you can see. You can see how much has been taken. 10,700. Here X interest. Got the clarity, all of you? Tell me, what is come interest, sir? Interest is included. For recording in the cost column, interest is to be subtracted. That is what I have done. Come interest minus accrued interest is cost price. But in case of quotation price itself is cost price. In case of X interest, quotation price itself is cost price because interest is not included. To find out payment to seller, accrued interest is to be added. Therefore, how much we are getting? 11,100. Now to get payment to seller, which is not to be added, interest, because 10,900 is already including interest. So this is payment to seller. You following, all of you? So why this cost price? Because to show in cost column I am deducting accrued interest. In case of X interest, no need to deduct. Directly this will be taken to which column? Cost column. To get the amount that is paid to seller, I am adding interest. There no need to add interest in case of come interest. Okay. Now let me tell you the logic to explain you. 31st December, what happened? Company is paying interest. Then that they write like this: by bank account, 10,000 into 12 by 100 to 6 by 12. 600 rupees will become interest. What is interest? 600. 600. Same here also. By bank, 10,000 worth of debentures, 12% into 2 by 12, not 2 by 12, 6 by 12. Is coming to 600. Now see the interest column difference to P&L account. 600 minus 200, 400. Here also you can see 600 minus 200. Now what is the logic, sir? As a buyer, you can see, as a buyer, when I purchase debentures, example 31st August. When? 31st August. Next you will be getting interest on 31st December. So as a purchaser, how many months you are holding the interest? 4 months. September, October, November, December. On my 10,000 debentures at the rate of 12%. For how many months I have to get? 4 months. 400. Finally you can see what is my net effect. Tell me here. How much is transferred to P&L account? 400. That's it. Even though I am paying 200 rupees temporary to my seller, but company is giving 600 because on that date I am getting interest. No. So finally, if you look at the logic, I am getting my 400 rupees because for 4 months I need to get 400. Be it come interest or be it X interest. What is the amount I am transferring to P&L account? 400. Only the difference is now I think you can by this time it is you are having clarity. Come interest means interest is included. So to take the cost column, interest should be separated. That is what I have done. Separated. This will be taken to cost column. But interest will be taken to interest column. In case of X interest, no need to separate. Why? Because this quotation price itself is a cost price. That is why directly how much I have taken to cost column, cost column. Let's take everything. Sorry. How much I should take here? Here I have written correctly, but at the time of posting I have done it wrong. So 10,900. So what is the payment? 10,900 plus 200? 11,100. Clear to all of you? Some small mistakes. See the screen sometimes I am explaining board is different. Here I have written cost price 10,900. Here how much I should write? 10,900. Please clear to all of you. 10,900 plus 200. 11,100 is payment to seller. Here you can see 10,700 plus interest. It's coming to how much? 10,700 plus 200. Payment to seller is how much? 10,900. What is the reason? What is the logic here? See, the thing is that in case of come interest, interest is already included. I think the payment is looking a bit less. But in case of X interest, interest is not included. So for the same example, amount appears to be more than come interest. The reason is that X interest is I have taken the same example. X interest is not included. So I think I hope you got the clarity. Come on, tell me once again conclusion before I wind up today's class. Final word, final statement is that come interest interest is included. To take into cost column, interest is to be separated. Let me make a statement. I think that will be clear. In case of come interest, accrued interest is to be deducted from quotation price. In case of come interest, accrued interest is to be deducted from quotation price to take the amount to cost column. In case of X interest, accrued interest need not be deducted. Accrued interest need not be deducted from quotation price. Take the amount to cost column. So we can say cost column for come interest is equal to quotation price minus accrued interest. Cost column for X interest. Quotation price only, because which is not included, interest is not included. That is why in the above example I have taken quotation price 10,900 minus 200, how much I have taken? 10,700. Here cost column for X interest, above example, how much I have taken? 10,900, because it is not including interest. But when it comes to payment to seller, it is 10,900. Here 10,900 plus 200 is coming to 11,100. I hope you got the clarity on this. We continue our discussion in the next class with sale. We discuss. We have seen today purchase of cum interest and purchase of X interest. Clear to all of you today's class? I have taken two things: cum interest purchase, then X interest purchase. Tomorrow's class we take cum interest sale and X interest sale. Then we go for profit or loss. Then how to calculate cost price when you sell the asset, and then carrying amount. I think with these things I will be concluding the topic for fixed bearing scripts. Then we work out few problems. Then we can go for variable scripts like that. Okay, then we are having some comprehensive problems. I hope you all are following, and any doubts whatever you are having when we work out the problems, you will be able to know that. Right, we'll meet in the next class. Till then, goodbye. Thank you. God bless you all.